everyone. We are Split, an enterprise transportation platform that is changing the way people commute worldwide, be it to get to work together or to reach medical appointments on time. My name is Anya Babbitt. I'm the founder and CEO of Split. And as Bharat said, we moved our company from New York City to Detroit just over a year ago to participate in Techstars mobility. And after relocating our company from New York City, we saw that there was an even bigger opportunity in cities such as Detroit that lack access to public transit, such to the extent that 128 million people commute every single day, often passing each other on the highway to get to the same place. And what is this waste? 6.9 billion hours stuck in traffic. And that's 160 billion wasted in productivity. And this is a real problem for companies such as Cisco, who said that when employees arrive to work grumpy, it infects the entire organization. Our model works because we're B2B. We partner with large organizations such as corporations, universities, and municipalities. And because of that, we create a built-in density of users from day one. How do we make money? We charge these organizations annual fees of up to $300K. So as Bharat said again, our app is live on Android and iPhone, and it easily matches people who are traveling along the same corridor. There are many benefits to the employer, a few highlighted here on the slide today. Company culture, we see a real increase in company culture. We're able to free up parking spots, which is also a huge issue in Detroit, especially for Quicken Loan. We're also able to recruit talented employees and, more importantly, retain them. Employees benefit by arriving to work alert, happy, productive, while also saving time and money. Corporations really work with us. This is part of the key to our success, where they are able to offer additional perks, such as front-facing parking spots, monthly gas cards, as well as cash bonuses. And we know this works because we see an increase in carpooling that is a 5x increase from 3% to 15%, and we expect an even greater increase in Mexico. Also, the reason that it's able to work so effectively is because we've built in-house a responsive, integrated, dynamic rewards platform, otherwise known as Rides, where the corporation is able to pick and choose rewards based on their corporate culture. Just this year alone, we've expanded into 6 states, as well as internationally in Mexico City, where our first launch partner, Bosch Mexico, will be rolling it out to 14,000 employees. And in the audience today is actually the president of Bosch Mexico, who came all the way here to support us. So it's safe to say we have great customers. And in the next year ahead, we have big plans and hopefully expanding to India, so stay tuned. Next, my co-founder and CTO, Yale Zhang, will join us in sharing about our new vertical in non-emergency medical transport in an exclusive partnership with Lyft.
All right, thank you. So can everybody still hear me?
You want to get closer?
Okay, great. So transportation is one of the biggest barriers for people to make their doctor's appointments on time in this country, and it's a real problem because 4.5 million Americans miss their doctor's appointments because they have lack of access to proper transportation. And of the $6 billion that's being spent right now on medical transport, $4 billion is on NEMT. And in this space, 90% of those who qualify don't even use the benefit. Well, we're working with Lyft to build the world's first ever non-emergency medical transport mobile platform, as well as platform for hospitals that allow people to get rides within 20 minutes to and from their appointments. So our business model is pretty simple. You heard from Anya about our carpooling model, which we charge an annual fee. For the NEMT model, we have the same. We charge an annual fee for hospital systems, as well as other organizations that need these rides, as well as transit authorities such as the MTA in Flint that we're working with right now. In fact, thanks to our head of business department, business development, Kristen, we're working on the Flint Sprint project to help them achieve better transportation for their rides to wellness. We have a lot of great customers in carpooling, including Bosch, and we are excited to have a lot of support local in the Detroit area, including Beaumont Health, Genesis, Henry Ford Health Systems, the Detroit Medical Center, and St. John's. And as of this week, we're also working with Mercy Health in Southern Ohio, as well as the Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville, Florida, and Phoenix. Anya has been great in helping us get a lot of public support. So we have 60 articles, 0 marketing spend, and because of this, we were actually asked this week to participate in the bid for the Indiana statewide non-emergency medical transport contract worth an annual $50 million. We've won a bunch of awards, including yesterday, Anya was actually honored by Cranes as one of this year's 40 Under 40 in Detroit. She was also honored at the Association for Commuter Transport's 40 Under 40 2 weeks ago. And we built a tremendous team of talent. We came here with only 3. We're now at 16 because of the talent that we found in the Detroit area. And the great part is that we already have experience in transportation. We've had multiple exits before. We've had B2B sales, logistics, and we're really here with great advisors who are also in the health and logistics verticals to help us really conquer this space.
And customers too. As I see, Magna is also here, so thank you, Magna. And I just want to leave you with one final thought, and that is our product is really needed in many markets, but especially in Mexico, where safety and security is a real concern, as well as the amount of money that people spend on transportation per year. And there are some factory workers who don't have access to transportation, and they walk an hour and a half just to get to work. And we met with those folks when we were in Mexico. And on the hospital side, hospitals see that the biggest barrier to missed appointments is transportation. And so our customers are here today because they believe and care that we can change this system, and so do we. Thank you. Sure. Great question. Just to repeat the question, it's what is the bigger focus with our 2 verticals? And this was actually an idea, the second vertical, to address patients who are missing appointments and don't have access to appointments from Next Energy, where Dave Anderson works. And it was Jean Redfield who approached me a year ago and said, can't you please address this needy population, this underserved population that doesn't have transportation to reach medical appointments? And at the time, we were still really building out our first ride-sharing carpooling platform. We said, no, we can't, sorry, and then ran into Jean again in Chicago at a competition. Anya, please, is your technology ready yet? And it wasn't. We wanted to make sure that the first vertical and the first product was so stable, and that we had someone who, Kristen Welsh comes from 15 years of experience at Deloitte, has worked and lived in many different countries activating accounts. And until we had the product, the right team, the right person to really lead that first vertical, is when we then decided that we had the capabilities as a team and the resources to be able to now target non-emergency medical transport. And also with Lyft, that's when the light bulb moment went off, when they own the assets, the car, and then we control the technology, the dispatch, and the accounts for the hospitals.
One more question. What is the business case for a company or for a hospital? Paint that period, can you give us examples?
Sure, I can take that.
Yes, so in our launch with Detroit Medical Center as the example, they have a room of about 20 people that they use, case managers, who call taxi companies around the clock to get people to get the vehicles dispatched to get rides for them. So when we did the financial model with them, we saw that they could save about $250,000 a year just by switching to our platform, even on top of the amount that they're paying us and paying Lyft for the rides.
And for a company?
For a company for carpooling? Oh, for company for carpooling, we're looking at tracking some of the soft measures in terms of increased productivity, increased alertness for workers, the sustainability goals. But also, a lot of companies in urban areas have actual real expenditures for parking. So, for example, same case business Detroit Medical Center, they're paying about between $150 to $250 to lease spaces from the MGM casino right now, and so freeing up any of those spaces because of our platform, they're yielding an 8-fold return.
And what's great for many of these customers, we can actually sell both of our products. So for the Detroit Medical Center, we're in a boardroom. Kristen's there, they're fighting for carpooling, and then the patient innovation side is fighting for NEMT. So that's great to have a dual sell.
This way. Great presentation. As you guys know, a lot of Detroiters do lack access to public transit. And in addition, they lack access to the internet. The last time I checked, there's some very drastic numbers with Detroiters not having access to the internet either at home or on the smartphone. So have you guys thought through a way to address that issue?
Yeah, that's available today. We actually have a two-way text messaging interface, a phone interface that's powered by Twilio with the automated phone tree, as well as a web platform so that you can use it in a public library, and the mobile app, of course, they can just download.
Any other questions? Any other questions? Thank you.
Great. Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thanks. Freight Bazaar's innovation is disrupting the unorganized $50 billion road freight transport sector in India through process innovation and connected technologies. They have pioneered India's first integrated intercity freight transport platform, which is rapidly gaining popularity among Indians' large and small businesses as the most cost-effective and reliable solution for intercity freight transport. I would now like to welcome Bhavin to the stage for Freight Bazaar.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, great. Good afternoon, everyone. And it's a pleasure to be here. First of all, I'd like to thank TiECon and Auto Nebula for giving us the opportunity to present Freight Bazaar. We are disrupting the way the intercity transport is managed, and primarily in India is what we are focusing on. To give you a context, sorry, this one is not working. Yeah. So as you might be familiar, the trucking in the US is very structured, very organized. However, in India, it's a different scenario. It's a $50 billion industry, but the 74% of the trucks are owned by 1 to 5 truck owners. And there are over 4 million trucks out there. So there is a massive fragmentation that is there. And 80% of the business is on the intercity segment, which is where we are focused on. The industry is really unorganized, inefficient. There are a lot of intermediaries out there which take advantage of the process in the middle. That causes a lot of information gaps and information asymmetry, and it's also very inefficient. At the same time, there is an increasing trend of technology adoption in terms of the smartphone penetration, internet access, etc. So this is really at the inflection point. The critical needs that we are addressing is, one is the timely, we address on both sides, the shipper side as well as on the supplier side. On the shipper side, the timely availability of reliable transport partners. Second is the freight cost. Average company spends 9 to 11% of their sales on the intercity transport cost. That is huge, and there is no transparency because of all the intermediaries that are involved in this. On the supply side, there is a bigger problem of the utilization. Most of the trucks, similar to the case we heard in the case of buses, is very underutilized, less than 60% utilization. And on the intercity segments, they have a problem because they cannot find a return load fast enough. Sometimes spend a month or even more to get a return load. And they also have the problems getting the payments in a timely fashion because of this inefficiency. So with our solution, we can actually bring 17 to 19% efficiency into this entire process in this huge market. What is our solution? It's a connected, integrated, intelligent platform. So this platform allows the shippers to have a supplier discovery. So they can listen to they can connect to the suppliers any part of the country. They can also have the price discovery. So in real time, they can discover what the freight prices are. There is a reverse bidding that happens that brings the complete transparency into the entire process. And it brings a reliability because all the suppliers are onboarded and vetted by the Freight Bazaar's onboarding policies, and they have to meet the criteria to be a Freight Bazaar supplier. On the supply side, similarly, it provides the real-time demand discovery to the suppliers so they can connect with these shippers. We have tools to help them with the return load, and also have the payment facilities which acts as a single window clearance for them, and the platform is completely neutral for both sides. We are driving a lot of process standardization and innovation through this process, similar to what when Amazon started doing, delivering the e-commerce, they had these online e-confirmations, etc. So that is what we are doing. We have the quotation process, the bidding process, we have the e-confirmation process, we have the documentation management processes. And then we provide proactive communication, which is actually not heard of in this industry. Every 4 hours there is a status update, and the trip can take anywhere from 3 days to 10 days to complete. So the entire process, Freight Bazaar backend is involved in ensuring the delivery happens in a reliable and a proactive fashion. We have tools for the fleet owners so that they don't have to log into the website. From the smartphone, they can actually connect and find the loads. And similarly for the drivers, we have tools to help them with their trip status, as well as uploading the documents, etc., directly onto the server that goes to the shipper. We use a lot of automation for our managing our backend and the processes. We use a lot of GPS and IoT integration, and we also use analytics, which is a big portion of the value-added services that we provide to the companies. Our revenue model is we take a transaction fee based on the success, and we also have plans to add more value-added services and different classes of services based on the needs of the shipper and the suppliers. We have studied the competition in terms of the intercity space. Freight Bazaar model is the most capital efficient and the highly scalable. We follow the marketplace cum SaaS approach. It provides the neutrality and transparency and the capital efficiency. These are the top brands in India who are using this platform. Top 2 of the 3 logistic companies are using our platform. Many large, small companies, as well as many mid-sized companies are using our platform as well. We have over 700 suppliers registered all across India. We have over 17,000 trucks available on our platform. We have already serviced over 100 different routes, and we have closed over 1 million freight business. Current pipeline that we have is over $20 million of freight business that we're going to close in the next 1 year. And we have 90% repeat customer rate. This is all possible because we have a strong team, including founding team, the management team. We have combined 75 plus years of experience. They come from the logistics domain, transportation domain. They come from the operational domain, from the technology domain. So all the relevant experience is there, which allows us to achieve our goals and targets and continue to innovate and drive the standardization. We were recently recognized as the best online transport marketplace of the year at one of the largest supply chain conferences in India. Last week in New Delhi, we were recognized for one of our top innovations in India. We are looking at close to $100 million in the next few years, and we want to break even profitably. So that's why we are growing a little slowly than what we should have. We want to break even in 26 to 28 months, and then scale up with fast from there. Right now, the growth capital that we are looking at is focusing only on converging the pipeline, increasing the liquidity, and scale up of the revenue. So in summary, this is a huge market at an inflection point. We have a validated business model with a lot of customers, suppliers, industry veterans have validated this. We have a great team in place with the right combination of experience and entrepreneurial spirit, and we are aiming for dominating this market. We want to be the top player in the next 5 years. We will continue to use technology, process, and people innovation to drive positive disruption, positive change, and we want to impact the ecosystem. So we are not just here on the building this platform for its sake, but we also want to improve the ecosystem in a positive way. We want to look at sustainability programs, driver safety training programs, including green technologies. We already have some key partnerships in this area, and we want to continue to build on that. So that's what we are looking for, and look forward to your support. Thanks.
Having said that, if you had to pick one out of these three as a competitive advantage that you have, which one would you pick? Is it price? Is it trust? Is it transparency? And also, what is your customer acquisition strategy?
Yeah, I would say that one of the biggest advantages that is right now appreciated by the both sides, the shipper and the suppliers, is the transparency that we provide, and that is why they keep coming back to us. They know that we are unlike middlemen or a transporter. We don't hide anything, and everything is transparent on both sides, all the bids and the quotations and everything. So among the three, that is the top one that people value the most right now. And regarding the customer acquisition strategy, we have different strategy on the shipper side and the supplier side. So the supply side is more fragmented, and so for that we actually have to do a combination of these BTL campaigns, which is, you're familiar with the word, I hope, the BTL, which is you have to do some on-the-ground campaigning with the supply base where the transport hubs are. And we also use a lot of digital campaigns. So we have a huge database of suppliers, and then we have our own CRM system that we have developed to actually track the leads, generate the leads, and build the customer relationship. And then similarly on the shipper side, right now most of our leads are coming in through network and through references. So because of the word of mouth and whatever, we haven't spent anything on marketing or PR, but because of some of the recognition that we are receiving and through the customers' references, we are getting more and more requests directly coming into our call center who are asking for a meeting and looking for service from our platform.
Building on Nin's question, the big 3PLs like DB Schenker, DHL, you name them, have a pretty good handle on the market of shipments. Yeah? So they own a lot of the very large accounts. How do you think you can beat them with your company?
Yeah, actually, the top some of the top logistic players in this particular intercity segments are the TCI, which is the Transport Corporation of India, which is the oldest company in India and one of the largest. Second one is Gati KW, that's a joint venture. Both of these are our customers. They use our platform because what happens is that they actually own a very small number of assets compared to the demand they have. Their fleet size only serves 20-25% of their overall requirement. So for the other 70%, they have started using our platform because our platform becomes a single place where they can actually find a reliable supply of trucks to service their customers. And the way we manage the process and the transparency we provide has actually drove a drastic change within the organizations of those companies, because they've started to standardize a lot of things, and they see that our platform is the go-to place for them to find the trucks when they need it.
Considering that the drivers have to provide updates to the platform, how do you overcome the low literacy rates?
Low literacy rate? Yes. So that is one of the things that we are working on. What we are doing is that first we have provided them with the app. App is multilingual. So the way we have designed the app itself is such a way that they don't have to read much. It's more of a picture-based thing. So and there are very few things that he has to do. The app automatically tracks his location, so he doesn't even have to update the location. All he has to do is when he reaches the destination, when the loading is completed, he just has to take a picture and then upload it. And that is, very, very easy way it is done. It is multilingual. The other thing that the facility that we have also provided is we have provided an automated IVR system. So where they can just call in, and then the system will automatically process where he is at that particular point in time, and then his availability will be published onto the platform, and any matching load will be pushed out to his truck owner.
Your focus is India, which is a big market. But what changes do you think would be needed if you wanted to take this to other countries?
No, we are getting a lot of inquiries into from some of the other countries like the Southeast Asia, like Indonesia, Sri Lanka, even the Middle East, and then some countries in Europe. We haven't really taken an active step in moving forward towards that. But from the beginning, we have this vision that this platform will be usable outside India as well. So the framework and the architecture we have put in place, we have kept in mind some of the internationalization that we will have to do, for example, with respect to the payment systems, with the currency, with respect to the way we display the messages of the strings, etc. So we have kept that in mind. But actually going into that market and then building that business, I mean, that's a different step that we need to take. What we have done, what we know a little bit about, for example, in the Middle East, the problem is not that much of within the country, but it's the inter-country. So similarly, probably in Europe also, it will be an inter-country that we will be looking at rather than intercity. So those kind of things we will have to implement as we go along. Yeah. You have any question?
Are you familiar with Cargomatic?
I have heard the name. It's a US-based company. Correct?
Exactly.
I don't know exactly what they do.
Okay, then I don't ask the question.
Okay. Yeah.
Bhavin, the Indian market has many regional, opportunities, but I also see some challenges. And as you mentioned, this is an unorganized sector, and for people who sometimes don't know about India, there are some challenges in that unorganized sector because you're dealing with many of those. So how do you account for the regional issues in India? Because in India, you go from the south to the north, there's a tremendous, and then the competition also varies very, very heavily in that. So have you factored that in, or have you encountered that?
Yes, we have. In fact, from when we launched this integrated platform last year, we have been doing business across primarily these 4 or 5 major hubs, which are spread across different parts of the country, like Delhi, Chennai, Bangalore, Mumbai, Pune. And all of them have some regional elements to it. One is the language. So, in the south, there are 3 different languages that people speak, and then in north, there is Hindi that is commonly spoken. So what we have is we have a call center team. A call center team is multilingual, so they are able to answer queries in any language. That is one thing we have done. Mobile app, we have for the drivers, as I said, we have the multilingual support there. And then also the team that we have, the field team that we will deploy in each of these cities. We will be picking them from the local city, so they will be familiar with the local environment there. They'll be able to talk in the local language. One of the criteria that we look for when we hire somebody for a field role is that that person is able to interact with the local communities and the local language in that fashion. Yeah. And then,
Thanks, Bhavin. Thank you.
thank you very much.